Okay, let's dive into a story you probably think you know, Richard Adams's Watership Down. Now, on the surface, yeah, it's a book about rabbits. But if you dig a little deeper, it is this incredible epic about survival, about leadership, and what it really means to search for a home. We're going to break down the very start of this amazing journey. So let's just start with a question that really gets to the heart of this whole thing. What would you risk for a new home? For safety? For your future? I mean, really think about it. It's a question that drives every single decision in this story, and it forces a small group of pretty ordinary rabbits to become absolute heroes. All right, so our story kicks off in the Sandalford Warren. And you've got to picture this place. It seems totally peaceful, you know? Life is just governed by routine. And right at the center of it all, we've got two brothers. Hazel, who's steady and reliable, and his younger brother, Fiver, who's small and kind of nervous. And on one perfectly quiet evening, all that peace is about to be completely shattered.
Fiver just gets slammed by this premonition, and it's not just a bad feeling. It's a physical, overwhelming wave of pure terror. He can't explain it, he can't make sense of it, but he knows, with every fiber of his being, that their home is about to be wiped off the face of the earth.
And this just illustrates the horror he's feeling. When Hazel pushes him, trying to figure out what's going on, this is all Fiver can manage to say. It's such a simple, brutal image, and it just cuts right through all the calm of the Warren. He sees their home, their whole world, just drenched in blood, and that vision is so strong it basically paralyzes him. Now, you'd think Fiver's vision is some kind of magic or something, but the source is terrifyingly real. Hazel, trying to make sense of his brother's panic, stumbles upon this sign. The human words, of course, are just gibberish to the rabbits, but the message is clear enough. Their home is going to be bulldozed for housing development. Fiver's prophecy wasn't madness, it was a warning. So what do you do when you know disaster is coming? You go to the person in charge, right? Hazel, who's now taking his brother's terror very seriously, knows they have to convince the chief rabbit to get everyone out, evacuate the whole warren. It's the only responsible thing to do. But the leader, the El-ahrairah, well, he's old school. He's seen the warren through sickness and predators, and he is not impressed by some vague feeling from a young rabbit. He's this figure of huge authority, but this is a classic case of how experience can sometimes make you complacent, you know? How a leader's past successes can kind of blind them to new threats. And right here, you can see the total breakdown in communication. On one side, you have Fiver's raw, gut-wrenching fear. On the other, you have the El-ahrairah's dismissive, almost patronizing logic. He shrinks Fiver's terrifying vision down to just a hunch and makes the whole idea of leaving sound completely ridiculous. And this is the final nail in the coffin. It's that polite, condescending brush off from a leader who has already made up his mind. He's not going to do anything. So this is the crucial moment. Hazel is left with a terrible choice: obey his chief and let his brother die, or defy all authority to save him. And Hazel makes his choice. If the warren won't leave, they will. He doesn't think of himself as a leader, not yet anyway, but he knows he can't stay. So he starts gathering this small band of rebels, any rabbit who's brave enough or just fed up enough to listen to him. And what a group it is. It's like a classic little fellowship. You've got Hazel, the reluctant leader, Fiver, the visionary, and then there's Bigwig, a tough, strong officer from the Warren's elite police force, the El-ahrairah, who's just had it with the system. They're joined by Blackberry, who's the brains of the operation, Dandelion, the storyteller, and a few others who actually believe Fiver's warning. But you know, leading a tightly controlled society is never that easy. As the fugitives are all gathering in the dead of night, they're ambushed. The Warren's police, the El-ahrairah, led by the very formidable Captain Hawley, they found them, and they are placed under arrest for dissent and mutiny. This is where everything changes. This is the point of no return. Bigwig, who just hours before was a respected El-ahrairah officer himself, turns on his old commander. He fights Captain Hawley with everything he's got, not really to win, but to create a diversion, a chance for the others to get away. He basically throws his entire past away for a future he can't even see. And they make it. The small band flees into the darkness, but now they're more than just travelers. They are outcasts, hunted by their own kind, running from the only home they have ever known into a world that they are completely, utterly unprepared for. The second they leave, it's like the world just turns hostile. A dark woodland feels threatening. They face predators they've only heard stories about. And then they come to a river that, to a rabbit, might as well be the ocean. The danger they fled. It's been replaced by very real, very immediate threats. So to keep morale up, Dandelion tells them a story. It's the myth of El-ahrairah, the great trickster hero of all rabbits. And this quote from the story becomes their mantra. It admits that there's danger everywhere, but it focuses on their greatest strengths, their wits and their speed. It's a reminder that even when you're prey, you can still be clever. And that mythology inspires some real-world genius. They're faced with this impossible river, and the weakest among them, Fiver and Pipkin, are about to give up. And then Blackberry has an idea, a brilliant, totally unprecedented idea. See, rabbits don't use tools, but Blackberry sees a piece of wood and realizes it floats. He literally invents the concept of a raft on the spot to save his friends. It's amazing. But the journey is just relentless. I mean, they survive the river, only to get attacked by a crow out in an open field. They have to cross a road, a frudu, as they call it, this terrifying thing of noise and speed. Exhaustion is setting in, morale is tanking. Some of the rabbits even start talking about turning back, forcing Hazel and Bigwig to lay down the law. Just as they are hitting their absolute breaking point, they're discovered. Not by a predator, but by another rabbit named Cowslip. And this guy is huge, he's well-fed, and he's weirdly calm. He invites them to his warren, a place that promises food, warmth, and safety. It seems like a miracle. But the moment they get there, the feeling is just off. The rabbits in this new warren are bizarre. They're big and unafraid, sure, but also kind of sad. They recite these strange poems. They have art carved into the walls. But the most unsettling thing of all? They show zero curiosity. They don't ask Hazel's group where they came from or what they've been through. It's this profound, totally unnatural silence. And then one of the warren rabbits offers this chilling piece of philosophy. I mean, just think about that. It is the exact opposite of everything Hazel's group stands for. They fought their fate, they risked everything to escape it. These rabbits, it seems, have built a whole philosophy around surrender. But why? And of course, Fiver feels it the strongest. While the others are tempted by the food and safety, Fiver is disgusted. He refuses to even stay in the burrows. He says he smells blood and death, a sickness that just fills the entire warren. His second sight is screaming at him that this safe place is actually a trap. He gives Hazel this terrifying, cryptic warning. Now, he's not speaking literally. It's a metaphor. He's saying that the comfort and the safety of this new warren, its very foundation, is built on death. And this brings us to our final huge question. What could possibly be so terrible that it makes a group of rabbits give up their will to survive? What dark bargain have they made for their own comfort? And have Hazel and his friends just escaped one death trap only to wander straight into another one?